That's right, everybody. That's right. And before we start this live stream, by the way, is welcome on back to another brand new live stream. That's right. Today we're here on a live stream on StreamYard today. So before we continue along exactly, is please be sure to give this video a like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified and say, I am kind of feeling glad and feeling a bit in a good mood to do a live stream today, which means it's going to be a Seahawks live stream today on a StreamYard day. That's right. Another StreamYard day is not a non-StreamYard day, for an example. So before anybody actually wants to join in the live stream, feel free to go ahead and join me on the live stream exactly. Like we'll have fun, have good conversations, and pretty much more likely have interesting chats or for exactly any kind of topics we can go on and talk about exactly and for. So anyway, just for that example, is I hope that you guys enjoy the StreamYard exactly, which also it's going to be in the StreamYard day. That's going to be clearly to be in a Seahawks stream, which is my favorite NFL team, my main loyal team. That is the Seattle Seahawks. That's right. The loyalist of the loyal team I've always loved, and my main number one favorite team is the Seahawks, baby. Caw-caw! Yeah, that's right. With that caw, it's going to be around forever. So yeah, that's a big caw. So before we get to this now exactly, is that it's been a while since we haven't done a StreamYard day for an exactly. So guess I'm gonna have to be the only one looking around in the playlist to see if I could find a StreamYard day, which I could find one exactly, which is still considered to be in this playlist. So yeah, let me just go ahead and try to find it if I can. So let me go ahead and try to see if I can find it. And for those who want to join me in the live stream, yes, you guys can and may want to join the live stream. So feel free if you want to. But if not, that's totally natural and that's totally fine. And oh yeah, speaking about StreamYard Day, exactly, looks like this will be, let's see what number this will be. So the number I think will consider to be will be, of course, is number 34 StreamYard Day, which is going to be the 34th StreamYard Day, which I have to say this will be our 34th live stream day. That would just be on StreamYard. So anyway, that's all I just want to let you guys know about and just give you guys the heads up anyways and otherwise. So yeah, and I actually will definitely go ahead and just turn my camera on so that you guys can still see me while wearing the Seahawks jersey, which is still the champion Seahawks apparently of the jersey exactly. So let me just go ahead and instantly just turn the camera on and just get it on with. So here we go. And there I am, everybody. There I am. Yep, there's that Super Bowl logo. Yep, there it is, folks. You guys can see that interesting logo color. Yeah, that logo color. So anyway, this is going to be probably the first time I might ever wear a Seahawks jersey in a live stream exactly, which of course I am still loyal to the Seahawks exactly, my number one main favorite, because I've always loved the Seattle Seahawks when I was a teenager, which trust me, I actually was, absolutely was, for considering the fact that, yeah, I actually have always been a number one main Seahawks fan, which I've always been exactly, of course. So normally I would say this exactly, that I've always been loyal to the Seahawks and they've always been my number one favorite ever since I was a teenager. Well, except two different factors, by the way, that two players were probably in the Seahawks exactly, which I still don't have any beef with that. I don't have beef with it, but I'm just saying that some of those teams are fine and okay a little bit, even if they didn't succeed or anything, which they did try winning once and twice, which I'll have to say again that I'm happy for them to win the second time, which I'll admit for the Seahawks did a very awesome and fantastic job for winning the second time in the Super Bowl is just a phenomenon and amazing as hell and so amazing as WTF, which is still amazing. So all I could probably account for and say, by the way, is imagine if the Seahawks, by the way, comes back in the Super Bowl again and win the third time, which to be honest, again, exactly, I might get another logo exactly that's going to be a different color, which kind of refers to a Super Bowl number exactly, which of course it might be the 61 Super Bowl thing exactly, which who knows exactly. I think it might be the Seahawks jersey, which is going to be a different upgraded one. So I'm not really sure how that's going to play around, but we'll see what happens into that point. So I guess I could say, and I'll admit anyways, that this is going to be a pretty bit of an interesting kind of thing exactly of another number of that logo being a different color. So I guess we'll have to see what happens. And yeah, it might be still the same jersey as the Seahawks of Sam Donald, which, by the way, that actually would be pretty base and pretty bit interesting. So I'll kind of give it that. It might probably be a bit interesting to do so. It might be that interesting. And speaking of interesting, by the way, I actually do want to let you guys know too, by the way, is that yeah, I'll admit that the Seahawks did an amazing job beating the Patriots. They did a very awesome and amazing, well done victory, exactly. Which, man, I am just glad as hell. I'm just glad that Seahawks did a very awesome job. They really did a very fantastic job to that time, and I'll actually will remember that day till the day I die. I actually will remember to that day is that I will actually admit that the Seahawks got that far enough to win still, and I am damn proud for them to do so. And man, I will still be a loyal, and I mean main number one, favored loyal to the Seattle Seahawks forever. Which, if they do win another Super Bowl, by the way, if I get another jersey exactly, which I think that'll actually equal two jerseys, by the way, at the champion ones. Bro, that would be insane. That would be completely insane, but it would be pretty interesting. It'll be that interesting, which I'll be glad and kind of maybe to see what I'll look forward to at the most. But hey, at least it gets kind of fervor anyway to see how that goes. But unfortunately, we'll have to see what happens, and we'll have to figure out what really will happen exactly at that moment. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to figure out what goes on, but we'll see what happens anyway. And oh yeah, speaking of that too, by the way, I actually did want to go on and say, by the way, is if the Seahawks do lose, by the way, like if they completely do lose too, by the way, I hope that the Texans could win the Super Bowl too, exactly. They might win their first time winning this exactly, which I'll admit too, by the way, I might even get a championship version of CJ Stroud of the Texans. If they do kind of actually will make it this farther again, that would be interesting. And that would be pure gold. It would be pure gold, which I really do hope to say at least, which I hope it might be pure gold exactly to know how the Texans will win it, but it depends if they will try to win the Super Bowl exactly of that number 61 or 62, which I hope to say and fair agree that I hope that could still be the case, but we'll see where any of that can still lead otherwise to know where that goes. But speaking to that now, I hope that you guys are still enjoying this live stream as I do, because it's supposed to be a StreamYard day exactly. That will be considered to be a Seahawks live stream day. That will be on StreamYard. So feel free again for those who want to join me on StreamYard, then please do exactly. That way that will continue chatting exactly. So that way that will continue and continue on to do the live stream more and more stuff in the future while doing live streams. And speaking of that, by the way, too, exactly, I'll let you guys go ahead and just get invited exactly in the StreamYard day, so that way that we'll just chat exactly. And oh yeah, speaking about that, I'm gonna go ahead and say is just gonna go ahead and say is feel free to join me in StreamYard. Yeah, yard. Here we go. And of course, go ahead and feel free to join me on that too. So it'll show up on your guys' screen exactly on the bottom left. So feel free to go ahead and join me on StreamYard exactly, where you guys can see that exactly. So if you feel free to join me on StreamYard, once it's on the screen, then just feel free to join me on the live stream, so that way that we'll have a good time, have a good conversation, and maybe heck, just for the fun of it, maybe in fact that we'll just have fun exactly, and maybe just chat and stuff, just maybe chat. Which, by the way, that would be appreciated or so, but yeah, hopefully, and I will say hopefully so. And speaking of that too, exactly, is that, well, I was, like I said again, going to look forward to continue more live streams and stuff in the future, just with you guys and me exactly in the future, just to see what we can do exactly. If it still maintains to continue to be on the StreamYard and YouTube live stream, that would be pretty good. It would be pretty good. Like, it'd be pretty good and stuff. So if you guys feel free to wanting to do that, then go ahead and feel free to do that. Since, well, we'll continue to keep talking more on the live stream of StreamYard. We'll keep continuing exactly. So there you go. And trust me, I actually am doing a pretty good job so far on YouTube exactly. While still doing live stream stuff, which, like I said, I probably do less live stream often, since I haven't pretty much been like getting live streams up. Sometimes I just probably get like some less live streams I make exactly, and focus on more video content stuff that I always focus on every day. So that's kind of what I have to do exactly in order to keep doing videos exactly, which it still depends on, however, exactly on the based facts of whatever that will continue to be exactly. So yeah, that's all I can probably say for now. That's all I can probably just give you guys the details and all that stuff, and that amazing, incredible things I'll say anyways. But let me just go ahead and say this, for example, is that I have to say is I hope that you guys are excited for me to play part 1 of Mortal Kombat Special Forces. By the way, it'll pretty much be on exactly the calendar. That, however, on the calendar, it's going to probably be considered being on the release on the 20th of April exactly. For those who want to see part 1 of Mortal Kombat Special Forces, by the way, that yes, again, I'll pretty much play as Jax exactly, since part 1 is going to be a little interesting a little bit, which again, yeah, save the bad critics later. Just save the bad critics later, which we all understand that. I understand that too, which, I'm not against anybody. I'm just saying it's like, we all get it. We all get it. Of the facts that we probably would say is like, oh, the haters would say is like, oh, we hate like Sub-Zero's game, which starts with the capital M, which I may not be getting too good to say that anyways often. It just pretty much appears to be on that title otherwise of part 1 or whatever exactly, which we understand that Sub-Zero's game, or should I say the first Sub-Zero of Bihan, yes, of Bihan exactly, is currently pretty much as the main Sub-Zero exactly before he still got killed exactly, which I completely get the point of that anyways. So yeah, that's all I can probably say for now. And speaking of that too exactly, is that, yeah, like I said too exactly, that I will say this too, of course, is that, well, is that, yeah, pretty much that anybody can still probably hate the first game of Sub-Zero's game, of Bihan's game, or Jackson Briggs's game, which I understand that anyway. I'm just saying is that, well, I'm wanting to pretty much want to test it for myself and play it myself, exactly. So that way I'll try to be seeing how good I will try to do and how many interesting progresses I'll do. That's the full probably the answer exactly. That's the full answer that I'll say right now. And just want to let you guys know too, by the way, that I'll hopefully will say this exactly and otherwise is that please be sure to know exactly that I'll do my best in part one. However, I'll try my best in part one to play Mortal Kombat Special Forces as Jackson Briggs. That I will probably start somehow to get the video early in pretty much the 20th of April. That I will be able to release part one on the 20th of April and will kind of get that video out the way so that way I'll test it for myself and see how naturally the game is. If it's still good, I'll try to keep playing the game a little bit, and if not, then who knows, man? Who really knows what really will happen? But it'll be up to my decision exactly. It'll be full likely to be my decision and pretty much my own authority to know how the game even is. So that's all I can say, and that's all I can probably point out for the fact of that now. So that's all I can say. So speaking of that anyways, is if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to give this video a like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to absolutely be notified. That way you won't miss a single video that comes straight onto this channel of my main channel. And also, by the fact too exactly, if you guys are Seahawks fans, by the way, go ahead and absolutely subscribe this channel, by the way, of my main channel. That way you won't miss a single video that comes around to this channel otherwise. So that's all I wanted to kind of get on with exactly, and kind of make this video to kind of like dedicate the victory for the Seattle Seahawks, by the way, that this is just a Seahawks live stream that I want to consider to give my a full attention for my favorite team of the Seattle Seahawks, of the badass Seahawks. So that's kind of what I would have to say right now, and just kind of give my loyalty to the Seahawks, which is an amazing job and amazing spirit job. So that's all I can say. For the spirit thing exactly, that they had guts, glory, amazing, well done, power exactly, and powerhouse victories that I can ever admit. That I would say in 2026 by any chance otherwise, 2025's thing exactly. So that I can say alone exactly is that's why I love the Seahawks, and I'll still always be a Seahawk fan for no matter what. So that's all I can say, and hopefully otherwise too is feel free to join me on the live stream here. So if you guys can see this on the bottom exactly, go ahead and feel free to hop on in and join on the StreamYard exactly. So we'll continue to keep having more conversations in the future and the live stream stuff. So feel free to go ahead and click on the link exactly, and that way you won't miss a single live stream or video that comes to this channel otherwise. So yeah, that's just a reminder for everybody. For those who want to join, then feel free to join. That way you won't miss a single video that comes onto this channel too. And yeah, and there's another reminder too, also fact exactly, for those who may miss the first one, then go ahead and click the second one for that example again, so that way you won't miss it. And speaking about missing it exactly, let me just go ahead and talk about like two other players that were kind of bit okay, but somehow yet some teams kind of failed a little bit back in the time. I think it was like the teams I would have to say was Nishan Lynch exactly. Like, oh boy, do I have to talk about Nishan Lynch? All right, so Nishan Lynch is like a Seahawks player that actually turns out that, well, I do not know what his concerns were about exactly before he left the Seahawks, which, yeah, some Seahawks fans of the new era kind of don't want him to come back exactly, which, fair and respect exactly. We could all have like one or two respects about Nishan Lynch, that first he was kind of like an all right player to begin with, that after all that he did got some good throws and catches a little bit while still being in the Seahawks apparently, but yet somehow the Seahawks' coach had to kind of, let's just say, kind of moved him out of the Seahawks group, which, yeah, at this point again, I was really shocked too. Did not kind of even notice or even realize what really was going on with Marshawn Lynch, anyways. But yeah, I was really kind of not sure how that was going to go on. And then, but yeah, I guess I'll say is that, well, yeah, maybe somehow next time in the future that Marshawn Lynch could have done a better job for the Seahawks, but I guess not. Unfortunately, I guess he wasn't that kind of the guy that the Seahawks weren't looking for exactly. Which, even though in fair game and respect, that I want to point out too, is that we all have to pretty much respect most of the teams exactly for those again that I'll have to admit that, well, that Marshawn Lynch didn't kind of deserve to kind of leave. Even in my opinion, I'll say that, well, he couldn't have leave the Seahawks, but I guess there was no other way and choice to kind of send him out of here exactly, and the curve, of course. So that's kind of how it felt bad for how that turned out. But hey, at least Marshawn Lynch is at some other point and other way to kind of do something else with his life, I think. So that's all I can say. Not sending hate to the guy, just saying it's just a bit of on the middle side of the things. Just being in the middle of the side of, the good side, the bad side of Marshawn Lynch. So that's the point I can say too. And speaking of the point too, exactly that I actually want to admit anyways, and point out another factor that is Geno Smith is that, well, Geno Smith was a pretty interesting Seahawk player that, well, he kind of didn't do great in the Seahawks kind of thing. He didn't do much as great as he probably would have expected to still be in exactly. And yeah, it pretty much did surprise me a little bit of how, what the hell Geno Smith was even doing this entire time, that I have no clue of what was even going on about. So, about how he was doing the receivers and the throws and all, it just kind of, we're good throws and all, we're good throws and touchdowns and without getting tackles or anything. Well, especially a few amount of tackles that were going on, like, holy shit, there were like lots of tackles out there, like literally the most tackles I probably had ever seen. That I really was surprised to hear from was like, bro, what in the world was going on, man? Like, seriously, what was even going on back there? Like, for example, it was just pretty nuts, man. It was like pretty nuts. Like, those throws, man, and those tackles were like pretty crazy, man. Those were like pretty crazy throws, and it was pretty insane, dude. It was pretty insane. So yeah, it was pretty insane, and I'll have to admit exactly that Geno Smith could have done better for the Seahawks, but yet he kind of goofed up most of the things as he was probably still in that team. And I think he was moved on some teams exactly, that he was kind of moved to. First was like that he moved to is the Raiders, which I don't have beef with the Raiders of just the Raiders. I don't have any beef with the Raiders. I think the Raiders are a pretty interesting team, since I think that the Raiders are so much better than the Kansas stupid cheater Chiefs exactly, which I'll still say again that the Chiefs are still cheaters and they will always be cheaters. So again, if I have to say who might win in a fight, I'd say the Raiders would win a fight. They probably would absolutely dominate the Chiefs in a very big landslide, which I know they have not won much, but hey, at least that's better to support the little guy than support the cheater people exactly of the team. So that's my only admit to say otherwise too. So yeah, that's all I can say as for that too. So yeah. I'll say that the Raiders are a very interesting group of team. Exactly, they're a pretty good team, and I'll admit that they are like a very interesting kind of team dynamic. They're like a pretty interesting, good team dynamic. A little less, but hey, at least it's better to support the little guy than the cheating people of the team, stupid Chiefs. So yeah, that's all I can say too. And I'll admit too exactly that I think the Bears are actually a pretty good, interesting team as well. Like they're the same team as I'll have to say too that even though they are the rivals against the Packers, I would say is good. At least I'll have to admit too that the Bears exactly are a pretty interesting team and a very complex team. In fact, I loved when the Bears dominated the crap out of those Packers perfectly in that bracket. That was like pretty perfect. Like that was the perfect score I had ever watched. Like thanks to Caleb Williams did a great job. Bro, that was perfect. It was like freaking amazingly domination. Like seriously, I would prefer the Bears of Chicago over than the Green Bay Packers. So that's all I can say too. And it was a very good job. It was a very interesting, good job for them too in that time. It was a very, very good job. Like seriously, think about the alliance. Like the Seahawks and the Bears had a very good alliance, which I'll have to admit that was a pretty interesting, good alliance, which was good. It was actually a good alliance. It was actually a pretty interesting base domination alliance I'd ever watched and seen. Like that was good. That was pretty good, interesting combination. How Seahawks and Bears could actually overthrow the Packers anyway, but Bears definitely did the job and they get the job done and they got the job good, which that was actually pretty interesting. So nice respect and very good respect. Absolutely pretty good. So anywho, let me just go ahead and say this as for now is that well, yeah, that's just the pretty much of the conversation of the story so far of exactly how Seahawks did an amazing job and did a very incredible job. So yeah, that's all I can say too. And speaking of that too, of course, well, let me just go ahead and just bring my condolence a little bit of the conversation of Sam Donald is that, bro, the reason why I love Sam Donald now exactly is because I think he did so well this time. He actually had the balls. He had the balls and the job done. He got the job done. He did amazingly, even though he was seeing a bit of ghost a little while. But hey, he finally was free from the curse of not seeing ghost anymore, and it's now being cursed right on to yeah, pretty much the Patriots' quarterback was just May Drake, exactly, which good. I think it was actually pretty funny to see how that was going on, was just Drake May, exactly. You know, that was just their quarterback. That was the Patriots' quarterback. Man, I love a good reverse curse swirl, exactly, of how that happened. So, LOL. Yeah, it was kind of funny. It was actually pretty funny. And I have to say, Sam Donald did an amazing job. And I'll have to say, I love the guy. He does a good throws in the future. Like, exactly. This is exactly why I might even like Sam Donald more than Deshaun Lynch and Geno Smith. With even though I don't have beef with both of those people exactly, I'm just saying that they did a little okay with their throws and their times and back in the days exactly of still remain of the 2000 teens exactly or 2000s. However, in that interesting dynamic and that interesting throws exactly. That's all I could admit and just say too that they did their time. They did their time good, but I think it was just time that both of them just kind of went in their ways exactly, which I think they did kind of okay. But in the end of the long run, I think Sam Donald was my favorite choice of all, that he did a very good job. And I was finally wanting to search for so long to see another amazing quarterback to do absolute good shit dominance so far and completely rammed almost out of any team in the park, which seriously, that was insane. Which I love the fact exactly that it was so funny how a little stupid that Vikings ever did was just send Sam Donald out of here. Was just like, bro, what were you guys thinking? What were you guys thinking, man? Like seriously, what were you guys thinking in your head? Like, oh boy. Like, man, isn't that a treat deserved for some ice cream and chocolate? Like, seriously, what were you guys thinking for that? Like, what were you guys thinking, man? Like, seriously, so stupid. Like, seriously. seriously, dude, there's no freaking way in a freaking, brain dead argument sitting Sam Donald pretty much just to leave the Vikings, which I mean, it was a pretty good choice of Sam Donald leaving the Vikings, bro. Like, it was a very good decision that I loved when Sam Donald kind of left the Vikings in a way that they actually just did that, which I'm like, bro, so freaking dumb, man. Man, that's how victory tastes almost every day of getting ice cream for chocolate and vanilla ice cream on my bowl just to have a very interesting ice cream victory, which that is just, bruh, hilarious. Like, seriously hilarious. So, anywho, yeah, I have to say that I'm happy for Sam Donald to be on the Seahawks team and will be forever to be on the Seahawks, which I hope Sam Donald in the future continues to be on the Seahawks more and more in the future. That's all I want to say, by the way, and give my response to say is that I want to see Sam Donald staying in the Seahawks team forever and a bit of forever in the future to win more Super Bowl rings will ever see. And first, of course, with the jersey upgrades that I would love to see in the future is Seattle Seahawks may win a third Super Bowl ring, which I know I was kind of confused to kind of not know if the Seahawks ever won a second Super Bowl ring or the third Super Bowl ring, but I think it comes back all the way into my head as I was figuring the entire thing out a little bit, and it tells me a different story that the Seahawks had won 2 Super Bowl rings, not third Super Bowl rings, which it makes so much sense. Like, it makes more sense to kind of tell me that the Seahawks didn't even win a third Super Bowl ring, by the way, but only 2 Super Bowl rings. Like, that really gives me an interesting dialogue of a story that I kind of actually would have almost paid attention to and would have known that about for a long time. But I guess it makes sense, which it really tells me the story. It makes sense. So I guess that probably makes more sense than anything else. So that's all I got to say right now is I hope that the Seahawks and Sam Donald continue to win more Super Bowl rings as ever. And I will hope to say again, too, exactly, is that if Seahawks do win a third Super Bowl ring with another logo actually being upgraded to another Seahawks jersey, that, by the way, would be interesting as WTF. Like, that would be so interesting as fuck, man. That would be interesting to see that happen. Like, that would so be amazing of the case. Like, that would be the most interesting thing in the world. Like, that would be interesting to see. And speaking of interesting thing in the world, exactly, is that hopefully if Seahawks do win a third Super Bowl ring, exactly, that would be pretty cool. So hopefully that will continue, and I hope that could continue in the future, exactly, in however the next season goes. I hope that the Seahawks does win a third Super Bowl ring, and it will be the most interesting way in history that it might make the 49ers even a bit sad and pissed at the same time just to kind of lose their shit. Which, seriously, that would be funny and hilarious. Like, that would show how the 49ers' failures would have been and kind of would have tasted. So hopefully Seahawks will have that advantage, and hopefully they will probably continue that same advantage as they've always will do. Now, let me go ahead and say this. Am I kind of pissed that Kenneth Walker III betrayed and left the Seahawks and went to the stupid Chiefs? Well, yeah, I kind of was a bit sad to see him go, but hey, at least he helped the Seahawks win the championships. That was pretty good. And I'll admit too that moment I kind of liked how, Kenneth Walker III actually won the Super Bowl for the Seahawks for us, exactly, which it did made us look very amazing and made us very good exactly in that time, which will always remember that time that well. Even though that I'll have to say that, well, even if it was his choice to kind of go off and just kind of leave the Seahawks before, after when he got traded for some reason, which it kind of made me feel sad to see him go. but I'll still hate the Chiefs no matter what, or hate the other teams that will be my top 5 and top 10, which even though I've not announced what my top 5 and top 10 would be, so I pretty much would consider focus on the positive versus the negativity for later, which, oh yeah, that negativity will be saved up for later. Like it's going to be an interesting combination of a bull knocking all the hated teams that I would so despise and hate the most and be against of. So that would be saved for later. That would be saved for later, folks. It wouldn't have to be for now, but it might be saved for later. So it'd probably be less announced if I have to. But again, I have a lot of top 5 or top 5s and top 10s to probably consider. My expressions, my conversations exactly of how in the future would be. So that's the only case I can say. But as of that case of now is thank you guys for watching this video. Please be sure to give this video a like and comment and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. And yes, this is Blue Devin-Foxy remastered, folks. And yes, it is going to stick with that new name for now, which it probably would. So trust me if I say that, then it's going to kind of stick with that name for a long bits of time. So I guess that's what I can say for now. So this being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is yours truly to say that I am Blue Devin-Foxy remastered, folks, and I will be sure, in fact, absolutely will get to see you guys next time, and guarantee next time in the next video. And oh yes, let me tell you guys this too, by the way, as I was wanting to say something as well in the live stream, as I want to talk about, was that yes, my hand was cold, by the way, while I was making the parody fight happen with myself versus Blue Box's team. And yeah, I think for right now that Fake You was having a bit of problems exactly. Fake You.ai was actually having some problems a little bit with me, which I don't know why, because it was due to the internet crap. So that's probably why that the Wi-Fi was just not letting me do its job. And I was like, bro, what in the world is even going on right now? So that's all I can say. And it kind of does suck. And I'll admit it does kind of suck right now. But hey, at the only future moment I can say, at least May, by the way, meant to say May. At least May is going to have probably a good perspective exactly for me to probably be moving out the hotel exactly. So it'll probably take its course and time anyways, again and again, just for finally to say is like, finally, fuck yes. Which I don't hate the hotel, by the way. I don't hate hotels. I'm just saying it's just about the Wi-Fi. The problem is that the Wi-Fi is just the problem for me not to get videos out exactly for like example for live streams exactly. It's just only for live streams that gets the only instant of the problem of not letting me actually just get live stream videos out, because it does suck, and I'll admit it does suck, but hey, at least it's just trying on a different perspective that I'm at least trying to figure different alternatives so that way that the live stream doesn't bug or doesn't even cause the way to say is like, oh, it's not working. Well, that's probably why I'm trying to figure that out. And that's why the example, I'm always trying to find out the only solutions to figure those out. So that's just the fact of it exactly. It's just the point what I'm talking about. And yeah, it does kind of suck when that happens, but sometimes it could happen and sometimes it may or may not happen exactly. So I really don't know what to tell you, but it could happen at some point in time. But for now, in that perspective, we'll just have to see where this goes and see where this happens. Otherwise, somehow in May, that I may try to get a live stream out on May. If I have time to do that, then I hopefully will have time to do that, and we'll get that out of the way without having any problems with it. So there is your guys' answer, and there is your guys' point. So, anywho, well, this being said, I hope that you guys are actually liking the Seahawks jersey of the Champions jersey. So, hopefully, more jerseys, like I said, will continue in the future, by the way. Like, for example, there probably will be some more NFL jerseys I'm going to be wearing soon. The NBA jerseys, the baseball jerseys, the hockey jerseys. Yeah, one of those jerseys, by the way, and of course the college football ones might probably be coming around of my top 5s and 10s. So yeah, you guys will get to see more of that in the future, in more content and more videos, as pretty much as precisely and usual will probably be in more videos. So that's all I can let you guys know about, that there will be more, basically more jerseys coming right around the corner and coming around the time when that happens. Otherwise, of my top 5s and top 10s will probably be that time that will be announced of whatever. We'll get that the longest time of the video timestamps will ever probably be featured in most of that. So what I could really predict right now, guys, that I want to let you guys know, what would be my third jersey number, by the way, of my third jersey team would probably be is the New Orleans Saints. So the Saints, by the way, I would definitely have to say that would be my number 3rd pick, by the way, if I get that jersey. But for now, I'm kind of focusing on 2 different alternatives. It's just the Seahawks away jersey with Sam Darnold and the away jersey of CJ Stroud with the Texans. So that's probably what I'm going to get next, is 2 jerseys. And then finally, I'll get back to the other jerseys as well to kind of main focus on most of that otherwise too, just to kind of have that on the roll, just to kind of have that on the roll. So that being said, I hope that to see you guys next time, and we'll be glad to see you guys next time. And I will definitely, in fact, wear a Texans jersey in another video soon, whenever I'll finish the first part of the game exactly. That will be about Mortal Kombat Special Forces, by the way, that I'll have that whole game done exactly. It might depend on most of the schedule on my calendar. It kind of will depend on how I will get the whole game done exactly, which it means I'm not going to get the whole game done. It means I'm going to go by one to see how I'll actually get most of the way of the satisfactions parts out of the way. And then, yes, I will definitely wear a Texans jersey and a reaction video that I will try to wear it exactly. And, of course, as for the same way it goes as the Seahawks jersey, it'll probably be featured in another gaming video that will be kind of being featured exactly only in one video I might be wearing, as this same jersey I might be wearing in part 1. So, there you go. And as that to be said again, is I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please be sure to give this video a like and comment and subscribe to the bell to be notified. And please do so. It'll help the channel a lot and support the channel throughout the time. It'll be amazing and appreciated. So this being said, thank you so much for enjoying this live stream as I do. So hope that you guys enjoy this video. And there probably will be, in fact, to see what goes on, but we'll just see what happens anyway momentarily with more videos coming in the way. So yeah, you guys will get to see jerseys like these someday soon in the future that might represent me exactly, still wearing the Seahawks jersey, which like I said, I'll think about wearing the jersey again in part 1, which I'll probably will, by the way, and probably will feature more of that in more part videos somehow. And then, of course, in many other plans, I'm actually attending the plan on for more stuff to happen. So yeah, that's all I can say, that how lucky I probably would be for now. So this being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up and just kind of get going, since we've kind of talked this video of this live stream for a while, and a bit of a long time since I'm not seeing anybody in the live stream for a bit. So yeah, I really do hope again that anybody can join the live stream sometime, but I guess I just don't see anybody showing up, which, yeah, I'm not really going to keep complain or bitch about it for most of it, so I'm not going to really complain about that much of the time. So this being said, thank you, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day. Thank you for watching. Take care. Sign off and sign out, and we'll see you guys yet again in the next video. Sign off. Peace out, and go Seattle Seahawks. Go Sam Darnold. And go continue amazing Seahawks with the Seattle Seahawks. And also, one interesting problem I want to let you guys know about is that the Seahawks have to encounter Kenneth Walker III in the stupid Chiefs team exactly, which there is a problem, in fact, that I was trying to find weaknesses on Kenneth Walker III, which, by the way, I'm not trying to hate the guy. I'm just saying that we can't let the stupid Chiefs win again because it's going to continue being shit every time. If they continue winning, they're going to completely try to keep on winning until it gets more annoying with how stupid Patrick Mahomes continues to be delusional as always. And he'll just say, it's like, I'm Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to win the playoffs. I'm going to win the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs. Seriously, we cannot let this guy keep winning. We cannot let him or the Chiefs win any Super Bowls at whatsoever because we all know, in fact, that the Chiefs, by the way, always loves to give the cheating wins. For example, is for the referees to kind of give the Chiefs a free hand pass whenever that's impossible. I'm like, bro, that is stupid. Like, that is literally the stupidest thing I could probably would have ever imagined. Like, bro, come on. Like, think how stupid that is, and think how stupid that sounds, whatever that actually is necessarily. And yeah, I do a good impression of Kermit the Frog a little bit. I do a little bit good impression of Kermit the Frog, which I'm not really into a fan of Kermit. I just only use the voice of the sake of fun to make the fun of it. Exactly, it's just to kind of rub it in stupid Patrick Mahomes' stupid idiot face. Exactly, to rub it in Mahomes' face. Exactly. So yeah, that's all I could kind of say right now. So that being said, I will probably be saying is this, by the way, is by saying is like imagine if comments would be rolling on by saying is like, oh, you gotta apologize to Mahomes. I'm gonna say is like, no, buddy. I'm gonna say is like, how about I say is fuck no. I would say is fuck no. Exactly. I'd say is to the Fuck no. I would never apologize to the Chiefs or Mahomes himself. I would sincerely never apologize. Because seriously, they cheat. They cheat. They give the Chiefs for the refs. Like, isn't it just so stupid, by the way, the fact that we all know how pretty much corrupt that sounds exactly, which that is bullshit, man. That is bullshit. Like, seriously, the teams I would rather say, by the way, that Chiefs, by the way, are the biggest cheaters of all. Exactly. They always cheat. Every time the way they do that, they always will go on a bye, sneak around exactly, and just talk by to their ear with the refs by saying it's like, seriously, how does that kind of sound to anybody? How stupid that sounds for that question. Like, yeah, it really does kind of sound stupid because it just does. It really does sound stupid, exactly. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to focus less on the negatives, by the way. So, as of right now, I want to say is I hope that Devon Witherspoons, by the way, defeats Kenneth Walker III and will actually encounter him too, which I hope that any football team in the Seattle Seahawks team will have to be aware of the advantage against Kenneth Walker III, even though that he's on the stupid Chiefs team exactly. So I hope that Kenneth Walker does the best job of all. I hope that he really could push it out there and really, really push it out there for the Seattle Seahawks to have more safe wins that they could ever try to do. So hopefully we'll see where that goes and we'll see what that could happen. So yeah. And I know this is a long live stream or two. I get that exactly. It's just that I want to let everybody know that we can't let the Chiefs get away with winning again. We cannot let them win again back in that Super Bowl because it's going to be boring as shit. It's going to be boring every time. And plus, everybody are going to turn off their TVs anyway because if Mahomes or Chiefs themselves get back in that Super Bowl again, we're all going to turn off the TVs and not even give a single F. We're not even going to care. We're literally not going to care. Because, in fact, we can't even let the Chiefs come back winning again because they know the advantage. They know they want to keep coming back winning again and again. So that's why we have to say is like, absolutely not. Hell no. Hell no. We cannot keep letting them keep winning again. So That's the fact. That's the point of it. And that's the fact of why when cheaters try to be cheaters, that's when cheaters got to be stopped every time. They always got to get stumped. They're always going to keep getting stumped each time. So we just need that to still happen. And oh yeah, as for the Notre case, that well, in another point of perspective is that the Seahawks or the other teams out there could try to stop Justin Fields, by the way, in that time. I hope that Justin Fields will lose in the Chiefs, apparently, exactly, in that team, so that way it will be a bit less possible for Chiefs to never even make it to the Super Bowl. So that's all I can give my points to about that. So, anyways, yeah, this was just a conversation I kind of want to get off my chest a little bit and just remind everyone how much of the cheaters the Chiefs really are, exactly of how stupid they are, exactly. So there you go. And that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. So please remember to give this video a like and comment and subscribe to the bell to be notified. And this being said, folks, I think that's all I have the time today of this live stream now. So remember this, by the way, for those who missed the live stream, then there will be more chances for anybody to kind of join back in the live stream as possible as anybody can join back in the live stream again. So if people want to say is like, oh, can you have another live stream again, please? The answer is I'll say is the word yes. I'll definitely have that happen again and put that back in the live stream still and get that back in. So that's all I can say, that yes, I'll have that back in immediately. If anybody wants to say is like, can you do a live stream? Can you do a live stream? That's when I'll say is that the word would be is yes. I will try to get the live stream up and we'll get the live stream as possible to be in as anything as necessarily, that the answer will probably be yes. So we'll see where that goes and we'll see what happens. So this being said, see you guys later. See you later and signing off again. And I'll see you guys next time. So thanks for watching. Peace out. Sign off and see you guys next time. Absolutely in the next video. Signing right on out. Bye-bye, everybody. See you guys next time. And Mortal Kombat Special Forces Part 1 will be happening soon on the release of April 20th or April 23rd of this year of 2026. So yeah, you're welcome, and hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys later. Part 1 will proceed and will begin. Sayonara, sign off again, and see you later in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody. See you next time. I meant to say is, see you guys next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Signing right on out. And speaking of signing out, let me just go ahead and just drink some Gatorade. Well, I will go ahead and just add the countdown, for example. So let me go ahead and drink this for a bit, and then I'll get it started in with the countdown to end the live stream. So give me a second while I drink this. Ah, damn, that's good. Damn, that's the good stuff. Yep, that's the good stuff, folks. That's the good stuff. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Sign off. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good day.